Trying to remove whatever rust is caked on there at this point in time. And this could take a long time. Like I said, I didn't realize that this was going to be so bad. Yeah. Alright, so rust eraser, and you can tell some of the blade is coming back, a decent amount of it. It's taken off the rust, but it's also pitted rust that is on there. Now the rust pitting, that's going to be pretty difficult to take off, because what it can do is it'll take off whatever orange pitting crusted on. It'll take that off. So let's keep going. Forgive me about the weird angles. I'm trying to not just use my camera as my eyes. I'm also trying to look over the camera, so please forgive me. I want to do this effectively, the best that I can, so you guys can see it. Oh, I just hit the camera, or the tripod, I should say. I can tell you guys a story about a time I actually found a really cool ninja sword in a bush next to a liquor store way back when I was in middle school, and yeah, it was pretty rusted. It was pretty bad. I actually had to leave it because at the time I didn't know. When I saw the rust, I thought, you know what, this thing is gone. It's done. It's dead. But now, looking back and knowing what I know, I could have saved it. I could have restored it as a hobby if I really wanted to, but I was a kid at the time and I should have taken it. There was this bush right next to the liquor store back when I was walking from a certain house that I lived in way back when. And my buddies and I would stop at this liquor store to try and grab some snacks and stuff. And then one of my buddies says, "Yeah, man, it looks like there's something stuck in that bush right there." And I was looking at it and I was like, "Nah, yeah, it looks like something. I don't know what it is." And he goes, "Man, it looks like a knife." And the way it was sticking out, there's a handle. You saw the handle on it, and I was like, I don't think that's a knife, dude. I think that might be a sword. And for days and days, it was sitting back there. And we would talk about it at school, and he's like, "Well, I dare you to take it." And I'm like, "Well, where am I going to take it? I obviously can't take it home." My buddy's like, "Well, I can't take it home." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess it's a bust. I guess we're not going to be able to do anything with it." And he starts laughing, and he's like, "At least pick it up out of the bush and see what it is." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not touching that. I don't know what it is." We kind of just argued about it, bickered about it more or less throughout the day in school. But we were also contemplating on what it is or what it could be. So my buddy was like, just take it out. It'll satisfy our curiosity, and we'll stop talking about it once and for all. Throw the hatchet. So I was like, "Well, dude, if it's a weapon, I don't want to touch it." And he sat there and he was like, "Yeah, well, it'd be cool." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. It would be cool. It'd be really cool. But also very dangerous, because what if it was used for something? We're not supposed to be touching that." So we kind of, like I said, we were bickering a lot about it. And eventually we were walking home that same day, and we saw it, and he had just enough money to buy us a couple of sodas. So we went into the liquor store, we saw the guy, we said hello to him, and I told him, I said, "Hey man, what's in that bush right there?" And I pointed at it, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe it's trash." That was his ultimate answer, was, "I don't know, maybe it's trash." And my buddy and I looked at each other and we were like, "Okay, well, if it's trash, that means it means nothing to him, nor does he seem anywhere interested in it at all." So he went ahead and told me, "Well, if you guys want it, just take it. I don't know what it is, but you'll be doing me a favor. So we looked at each other and we kind of nodded. And we're like, yeah, sure, we'll take it. So I reached into I looked at my buddy like I was expecting him to pick it up. And he looked at me and he raised his eyebrow, and I was like, all right. I'll be the guy with the balls to pick it up. And so my buddy sat there and he was like, all right, man, go ahead. And I pulled it out, and it was a ninja sword. I think it was like, I want to say about like 14 or 15 inches. It wasn't really long. The handle had like this weird kind of like plasticky rubber wrap that was coming off of it because it was in the weather, the heat and the cold and, the rain and all that. Who knows how long it was in there. And I went ahead, I was looking at it, and I told him, I was like, yeah, bro, look at it. It's a ninja sword. And he was pretty startled by the appearance. He didn't think it was a ninja sword. He just thought it was like some sort of, I don't know what he thought. He thought it was something else. He thought it was, just a small knife or something that was just stuck in the ground. It was actually a legit ninja. I mean, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was like a real ninja sword. It was one of those like cheapy bought. It had real steel on it. But it was one of those like wannabe, like, oh yeah, this is my ninja sword, you just throw it in your garage and don't care about it. So he ended up, I gave it to him, and he took it with him for about like a block, and then he got really, really scared, and he was like, no, if my dad sees me with this thing, I'm going to be grounded, and I was like, okay, and he looks at me and he hands it to me, and I'm like, well, dude, I don't want it. And we went back to the liquor store, and we put it back in the bush, and we just left it there. And we never really did anything with it. And I was like, what am I going to do with it? It's rusted, it's broken, it's nothing, it's trash. What am I going to do with it? And he sat there, and he was like, yeah, but... And I was like, dude, if it's rusted, it's gone. And so we just kind of laughed it off, and I totally forgot about it for years until I was looking up ninja swords, and I was like, yeah, I remember that one ninja sword I came across in that bush. Don't know how it got there, don't know why it was there, but it was in that bush right next to the liquor store. And what's funny is it was only there for maybe like another week or so, and then when we went back there try and show another buddy, it was gone. So we don't know if like some homeless guy took it, or if the police came and confiscated it because it was next to the liquor store and possibly used for something, in hopes that, hopefully it wasn't really used for anything. Okay, I can tell you right now, you see that right there? This blade shifted when it came in contact with something, and a piece of plastic or rubber broke off of this side right here. Yeah, this thing was used for some serious chopping. Yeah, most of the rust is coming off. It's just a pain just getting it all off. And I can feel the rust on this side right here. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit more of that baking soda. I'm going to rub it in there and see how much of that stuff I can get off. Sorry guys, sorry. I'm not gonna do a re-record. I was not expecting that to happen, sorry. First time that ever happened. Alright, so what am I gonna do? I am gonna go ahead and put on some more of this baking soda. I'm gonna rub it in. Sorry about that, I knocked the camera down. You guys can skip over that. I'm not gonna do any editing to this. I just don't know how. I'm still kind of new to that. Still kind of learning. So, forgive me. But yeah, I've collected a lot of stuff. The one that I had that was really badly rusted, at least for me anyways, was a folding knife, and I went camping, and it was a K-bar. It was a K-bar folding knife, and it was a really nice one too. I guess what got to it was the humidity, because we were next to this like creek. I'm assuming the moisture from the creek and the heat didn't help, so the heat and the moisture put together obviously just didn't do it any good, and it rusted a little bit. Not too much, but just around the area on the blade and a little bit on the ricasso, so I had to take my rust eraser to it, and it came off in less than a minute. I just had to rub it off. I just saw it. It didn't happen like right away. It happened when I got home and I was carrying it for a little bit because I didn't open it up since the time I went camping, and I was curious about what the blade looked like. It had a black coating on it, but there were parts of it, the black coating was coming off, and those are the parts that were starting to rust a little. But it's all good. You know, it is what it is. Now that I've taken off a lot of that rust, I can actually feel that there is an edge under there. It's not a good edge, but it's an edge. But yeah, so... Oh, what am I doing? Use a little bit of that vinegar, why not? Ooh, yeah. It's looking good. Or I should say better. Alright, sorry about that camera angle. Look at that. Well, it's coming up. It's just being a pain in the butt. Yeah. But yeah, if you can repeat that process with the vinegar and the baking soda, it can help take the rust off. You're just going to be doing this for a little bit of time, and that's okay. It's just how it is sometimes. So yeah, the pitting is there, I can see it. Flip it around, and I'll do the same thing on this side, why not? Yeah, I'm just trying to get that baking soda on there. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not using water for any of this, I'm not saying that water isn't going to work. If you use water, I think it's only going to make the rusting not any better, because rust comes from a little bit of moisture and exposure. So using water is probably not a really good idea to mix with the baking soda, but if you really feel you should use a little bit of it, you can use, just kind of don't go overboard with it, because the water isn't going to really remove much rust. Like I said, if you have anything better than your own hands to scrub, I suggest getting kind of like a, like I said, some sort of like Scotch-Brite or steel wool or something. That would probably actually help. Alright, now that I've done that a little bit, go ahead and use more of that white wine vinegar. Being a little bit messy with it. I'm trying to keep it on there so it can help remove some of that stuff. Well, you can see the blade, it's coming out. And a lot of you are probably wondering, isn't your room gonna stink? Honestly, it doesn't smell that bad. I was expecting it to smell really bad. Am I nose blind? It's possible. But I don't think I'm that nose blind. I can smell it. I can tell you right now I'm smelling it, but it's not a very strong scent. So it's always good. The materials for this, obviously the baking soda was less than $1. So between 50 cents and 70 or 80 cents for the baking soda, and for the white wine vinegar, that was less than $2, so it was like $1 and change. So that's just really, really simple items that shouldn't break the bank when you try to go and... But like I said, this is a process that's going to take a while, but the rust is coming off. My video is hitting close to an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it here for you guys, and I'm going to continue the process, and I will show you guys the end result with an update video. Alright, I will see you guys in the update video to this. Thank you again.